Okay, on the count of 3, everyone say their favorite video game. 1, 2.
NFL
Blitz 2001.
Okay. What's the best game console of all time? 1, 2.
Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Oh my god. Okay. Name the greatest lead character in gaming history. 1, 2.
Gex the Gecko.
What? Do we just become best friends?
Yep.
Do you guys want to go do some karate in the garage?
Yep. All right, I'll grab the nunchucks.
Well, when you've thrown a couple incompletions and you just need something to feel good about, if you're number 9, Tony Romo, try to find Jason Witten. Well, chances are you're going to come up with a completion. For such a big man at 6 feet 6, such soft, supple hands, very reminiscent of Tony Gonzalez. It's almost effortless. That catch is anything but effortless. But Witten makes it look so. 7 consecutive Pro Bowl.
Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. Joining me today are the 2 co-hosts, the myth, the man, the legend, Weston Toth. What is up, homie?
Yo, I'm back. Good to be back, boys.
And back again this week, our 4th-rated co-host, Aaron Bowen.
I knew you were going to say that garbage. What up?
That's your new intro. So
Co-host
just live
number
with it.
4.
Yep. And man, my hands are very soft and supple from playing a lot of NFL Blitz 2001 this week.
Oh my god, my hands are like quaking with rage from playing NFL Blitz 2001 this week.
Yeah. So Weston, what's up, man? We missed you last week.
Oh, man, just had a little bit of celebratory week with me and the wife and the family. She just took her last chemo pill last week, so we were, just celebrating that. And, it's a good time.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's what a relief just to be able to over with that. And dude, I just did that. I worked. I rode mountain bikes 4 days in a row. I went to a downhill mountain biking course where it's like
wow.
It's like snowboarding but with mountain bikes. So they like put you on a ski lift and they take your bikes up to the top, and then but the good thing is you don't have to pedal uphill. You just go downhill continuously. So
very
cool
nice
for that.
And then I learned how to do a Rubik's Cube. So overall, incredible week.
Yeah, man. I feel just smarter talking to you and more fit.
I don't, but
I also did work out 4 times, but I didn't want to brag.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I rode my bike a lot this week, if that helps.
Did you ride it for 6 hours straight?
No, more like 15 minutes, 2 miles, 8 miles a day total, back and forth. So.
Dude,
but it was 6 hours straight downhill. I don't know if that's really that counts.
You don't really pedal going downhill?
Pedaling.
I don't know if you know
You're
this.
just kind of holding on to it and hoping you don't die the
Guys,
entire time.
I'll just assume that don't understand what I'm talking about, because I'll send you a video one day and you'll be like, oh, never mind.
I'm just playing.
I mean, probably, but
I'll
at this
send
point,
you
I'm
my
gonna make
battle
fun
wound
of you.
on my leg, too, where I flipped over the bike.
I have plenty of battle wounds. Most of them are from bugs that I find in my yard, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, like your kids biting you, okay? Are you calling them bugs now?
Well, they don't bite me. No, thankfully. Not anymore.
That's
anyway.
really funny that you said that, because right as I left, my wife, she was putting our youngest down. She was brushing his teeth, and she was doing some coconut oil on his teeth, and he bit her so hard she started bleeding.
Oh my god.
That's crazy. It's funny because I was actually about to make the joke that they only bit me when I was breastfeeding, but I guess it's kind of weird now to say that, so I won't. You can edit that out if you need to.
No, it's all good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, anyway, so we're all going to be Texas boys pretty soon. We announced that on the pod last week. But Aaron's coming to Texas.
Dude, Karate in the Garage will be 100% sponsored by Texas.
Sponsored by Texas and Dairy Queen, which is what I like about Texas.
Remember that night at the end of 2008 when we were all laying in a field in Georgia? Did you ever think that we would all be living in Texas like 12 years later?
Dude, I didn't think I was going to survive that night. So.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked that I'm alive right now. So
I thought I was going to die in that field. So, no, I didn't think that we were going to be in Texas, much less alive.
I'm actually pretty sure that we did die in that field, and everything that has happened since then has just been some sort of purgatory. I'm not 100% sure. I can't prove it.
Or maybe we're still in that field, you know?
Dude.
We're still there.
dude.
and we're
It's
about to wake up.
This is
It's
just
like
like
that-
the Matrix Reloaded.
It's just like Pokemon, like that whole like Jacob's Ladder scenario with Ash Ketchum, where like when Pikachu shocks him and he goes into a coma, and then the whole rest of the entire series is just actually Ash Ketchum in a coma, and that's why he never gets older or anything, and that's why Pikachu's like his best friend in his coma, because that's what he really wants. But the whole thing's in a coma. I'll stop talking now.
Yeah, a lot happened on that fateful night. It was like the first time we had ever hung out as like a group. Like, you know, I'd hung out with
I think it
Aaron
kinda
before,
was, yeah.
and obviously me and Weston grew up together. And then that was the first time Weston hung out with Aaron.
Mm-hmm. We all slept
And
in the same
then
bed. That was cool.
I also met my wife that night, so it's pretty crazy.
You did.
Oh, you did.
You did.
And I
Nuts.
married her like 10 years later. So
Yeah. Took you long enough. God.
took me long enough. Jeez,
I
guys.
know.
All right. Well, anyway, enough memory lane for one night. You know, it is. It's time to. You know, it's time to press play on the NFL Blitz 2001.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
I cannot wait
Yeah.
to hear Aaron's thoughts.
Oh God,
I know.
I
know.
There's so many thoughts.
So many
There's so many thoughts. You
It's
guys.
more like a nightmare.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. I love funk music, and it's just like listening to this game, like playing this game, just listening to that one up-tempo funk riff for hours. It's like hypnotizing. It's crazy. Anyways, let's get into it.
Yeah. I listened to it for a little bit, and then I put on like a podcast while I was playing. So,
I
but
didn't do
I
that.
play. Guys, I gotta admit, I played this game a lot.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah.
dude!
I
I'm pretty sure Mason is now like what is the person type people who just like to feel pain because it feels something.
a
like they just-
masochist. Yeah.
Guys-
Masochist. He's a straight masochist, dude.
I think Mason
If you-
is actually world ranked in this game right now because he's the only one playing it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, definitely, Aaron. When you move here, I'm gonna put you through torture and
I
make
will-
you play this. With
I
me.
will. I will leave. I will straight up leave your home. I will exit the door and walk away. I am not playing this. No, thank you.
Yeah, if you ever want to get me a nice gift, just buy me the arcade, like actual version of this. You know,
see, we're already getting into it because I would play that. The
If I've
arcade
ever got
version,
another like,
dude.
if
just
I've ever got
imagine
like $2,000 laying around to buy the arcade version of this, I'm gonna buy.
I'm sure you can pick it up. For
I'm gonna
like
buy a
couple $100
Peloton
somewhere.
and Peloton along with Weston and his rich ass over here before I buy the the arcade
I
cabinet
don't
version
have
of
a
this
Peloton.
game.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure you have it.
You know,
Yeah, when he said he-
but
when
it's
he
not-
said
it's
he
not
was
because I can't
mountain
afford
biking,
it. It's just because I don't like them.
Yeah, when he said he was mountain biking, he was actually on his
On
Peloton.
Peloton.
All right. So NFL Blitz 2001 released September 14th of the year 2000, developed by Midway Games and genre obviously sports of some sort.
I mean, is it though, or is it more like sports and like mixed martial arts?
It's like
Yeah,
6 sports
like wrestling.
in one. It's
It's like sports meets like Dragon Ball Z,
Like
you know?
WWE.
Yeah,
it's
or
like
that.
sports, but like the people who are in the room deciding what this game should be were doing a lot of cocaine.
So this game was released on PlayStation, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, which is the version we played, and then Game Boy Color, which is interesting. I might have to check out the Game Boy Color version of
It's-
it.
I'll give you a hint. It's garbage.
Yeah, so let's just kind of get into the game itself. It was they had the NFL property, so they had the license to use the teams and the players and things like that, and so it was a full rostered NFL team game, which was neat. You know, it had a lot of recognizable faces and things like that. But basically, like we said, it's exactly its name, NFL Blitz. So it's the NFL on steroids minus any sort of personal foul.
Are we
So-
calling the NFL out for steroid use right now? Are we talking
Oh,
pets?
no, I said NFL on steroids.
No,
like,
I know. Are we getting political though? We talk about
No.
steroid usage.
No,
Okay.
no.
Wait,
That's not what
have
I-
you ever thought about doing steroids? Because I definitely have not ever thought about doing that.
Might have done that at one point.
I got a shot one time when I had really bad poison ivy, and it was technically a steroid. So.
I remember I got really jealous of Weston one day and just started doing steroids so I could be as big as he is. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Okay, so this game was kind of like a cartoony type take on football that, it had full quarters and had, basically the same rules as in a football game, except for you started and you're to get a first down, you had to go 30 yards instead of 10. So, yeah. Basically, so as far as the gameplay goes, what kind of stood out to you, Weston?
Oh man, what stood out to me was the good thing that this thing had going for itself is it had really exciting moments. Like just they're outrageous. Like it's not trying to be technical and it's not trying to be a great football game. It's just trying to be fun. So
yeah,
just running around like throwing Hail Marys or just like one time, dude, I threw to a guy who was so open. He caught it. The other team came up behind, literally like punched him up his back and fumbled it. Then he caught it. I hit my other guy, hit him. He fumbled it again. I caught it again and touchdown. So.
That was the moments right there.
Yeah, we're like, so that's kind of that's the good part about this game is it's dumbly exciting where you don't know exactly what's going to happen and you're rewarded for just throwing like these crazy Hail Marys. And the bad thing is, and that's why you could play it on the arcade too, because there was, it didn't need to be technical. And playing it on Dreamcast, though, if we played this together, it would probably be okay. This is an arcade game for sure.
Yeah. So it was kind of there was some modes in the game, like there was a season mode, which I did because I played this game a lot. But and then there was like customization modes, and then there was a mini game mode, and then obviously the classic arcade mode where you just one and done in an exhibition game. So, yeah. As far as like the playbook, did you guys look at that at all, Aaron? Did you try out different plays or? Was there anything there for you?
Yeah, so that's a little fun part of the gameplay is that there's different plays, which you wouldn't think there was because they all essentially did the same thing, which was nothing. So I actually played all three versions. I played the PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and Dreamcast version because I hate myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I actually found the N64 to be the best. Because you didn't need to highlight the play. Like on the Dreamcast version, you needed to highlight the play to see it. You didn't just see all the plays at once.
Nice.
And so on the N64, it just showed all the plays, and then you could just pick one. And because the timer ran down so quickly, it just made it a little bit easier. Yeah, it's like 5 seconds you have. And so it just
I turned that off, by the way. There was an option to turn that off.
See, when I saw that option,
I kind of liked about it.
Yeah,
I didn't like that. No.
I hated it.
I needed more time to kind of like decipher what I was going to do,
Yeah, I hated that because I actually thought when it said to turn the timer off, what I thought it meant is it just wouldn't show the timer, but there would still be a timer. So maybe that was just me being an idiot. Actually, it was just me being an idiot. But anyways, I felt like basically I had and first of all, many moons after first of all, the different versions of the game had different playbooks because I played as the 49ers in each game.
Oh, interesting.
And in each game, they each had a different playbook.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was really weird, I thought. And so, regardless, picking a play, for the most part, felt, again, kind of unnecessary because of the chaos. There wasn't really any particular reason why you would pick one play over another, because generally it's all going to wind up being the same storm of chaos on the field, and you're just hoping that you're hoping that when the game tells you to highlight somebody by pressing a direction and you see that guy blinking white and you throw the ball, that it doesn't go 40 feet in the other direction. That's what you're hoping the entire game. That's basically
so
it.
True.
Yeah, so the game kind of had a player picking system where it was kind of just whoever was open would flash. Yeah. And then if that person you wanted to throw it to was open enough, you throw it to him and make the catch or not. Obviously that's how football works. But so But one of the things that made
This
the
has
game
been
so
NPR
you saw like
explaining
Booger,
football with
Booger,
Mason
what's
Merrill.
his name over here? Yeah.
One of the
name,
things
Booger
that made
something?
this game so wild was like all the trick plays. Like anybody behind the line of scrimmage could throw the ball. You know, so you could toss it to your wide receiver out to the right, and then he could bomb it down the field, touchdown. It's over.
Yeah.
And then you know, I did that trick play a lot with you know, kind of running almost like a screen without the guys in front of you. You know, so the running back runs right and you follow him, and then if he's more open, you toss it to him, then keep going, or the quarterback could run. Mm-hmm. And then I did like a deep pass where I flipped it back to the running back, and then he bombed it down to the field. So I kind of worked on a shorter scale, but just because like that was one thing. I didn't like the flashing system. I like being able to throw the ball wherever I want it to go, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but it made it more intense in the moment too, and you had to be just on the move the whole time. Like you couldn't stand in the pocket because obviously the pocket was blown up immediately.
Oh
you know?
Absolutely. I think my biggest thing with this is just like, okay, it's sort of football. Like football as we know it is generally like the NFL or like the NCAA, which has slightly different rules, or like even like the CFL, Canadian Football League, like slightly different rules, the XFL, but generally the same game. This is probably the closest to the XFL as far as like if you wanted to compare to like speed and things like that. But it's just not really football. It's like football and rugby and the XFL and ultimate frisbee and wrestling, like all kind of jammed together. And I know that that's what it's supposed to be, but it doesn't really make me hate it less. Like it's just kind of it being branded as the NFL had nothing to do with this game. Nothing at all.
Well,
I mean, other than the team names, obviously. I was
gonna say the teams.
The team names, but like
the players.
But like the thing is like it's so like the game is so outlandish. It's not really NFL football. So why are you like grounding it in this realm of reality that it's the NFL and it's football when it's super duper obviously over the top goofy nonsense? Like you're trying to and it's the same thing with like the teams having different stats, which drastically impacts how good a team is. Like I played as the 49ers and they were hard garbage. Like it was awful.
Yeah. But it's funny because you had all the best players on your team because they basically just took the best players over the years and put them on a team. Like you had Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
you had who was Joe Montana the quarterback? Or was it Steve Young?
I honestly don't remember who the quarterback was.
Yeah, the Cowboys, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith. This is well past their time as like the the Super Bowl giant. And then the Falcons, John Chandler and Jamal Anderson and all those guys, you know.
Yeah, and I think Jerry Rice retired right around here. But yeah, I mean, to your point, it's just like that you have like these stacked teams, but there's no point because whatever it says is how the team is, and that's just how they're going to play. You cannot add any sort of skill into it, which infuriates me to no end because anybody that picks it up can't play their favorite team and win. You know, like when we would play Madden together and we would have our Madden tournaments, I played as the Buffalo Bills and I went to the Super Bowl. Like, what?
They only go to the Super Bowl when they get beat by the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, it's just that kind of like trying to ground it in reality while being so separated from reality felt really jarring, and I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I think the team balance could have been better because I think what they did was at that time they just kind of took the teams that were good and made them superstars. Like the Eagles were really good in that with Donovan McNabb. Right. He was their new star quarterback. They had some good power and everything. Mm-hmm. And literally I played the Eagles because I guess the Cowboys play the Eagles a lot, obviously, because they're in the same division. But like they just pitted me against the Eagles like every time, and every hit was a fumble. Like I could not be hit without I had to make sure I was on the edge, and that was super frustrating. But when I played like the Bengals, it was an actual decent game, Right. So it's just I definitely thought the balance and teams being overpowered was a problem.
Yeah. So to Aaron's point, it's funny because you were saying that basically like why was this NFL Blitz? Well, if that's because this is an arcade game. Think about this, like when you go in an arcade and you play like, Cruisin' LA where it's a car game, you're literally flipping, you're in the desert, you're going over pyramids. It's because this is not supposed to be like a serious game. It's supposed to be played in complete jest.
I'm 100% on board with that.
But you're right. This is not like, if you're trying to brand this as like, it was not football at all.
No.
Yeah. No. And I guess my point is just like, if they were gonna, like, they should have just made it like Football Blitz. Like, so when EA bought this, or when EA bought the full rights to the NFL exclusive rights, they rebranded this as Blitz 2005 or whatever it was, and they just made up team names, and that's what it should have been from the very start. Like, it should have never had anything to do with the NFL, because I understand, like, that brings popularity to it.
I was about to say, but think about like the players. Like, you want to play like, Troy Aikman, I'm going to be the Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be sweet. It's because it's nostalgic for people.
Yeah, but at the same time, it just, there's nothing about it's not you that nostalgia is immediately, in my mind at least, immediately destroyed by the fact that I can't play because it's not
that's
football.
Funny. I was the other way. I was stoked to be playing as, Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. I was stoked to have those guys. And, just the names and the jerseys basically is all that mattered. But one thing I thought was funny is I played as the Patriots, and 2001 was when Tom Brady came into the league, and Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback. So it was like right before the Tom Brady era. So there was none of that in the game, which I was okay with. Yeah. But so like you're saying, like this is I'm reading a quote here from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that gave it a review. Michael Carvell said the game was cartoonish yet fun. So it was just meant to be a high, fast-paced game in the arcade that you pump quarters in or play with your buddies at home, and then it's over,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Not really meant to be taken seriously on any level. It's just, but it did take it had very awkward controls. Like, that was one thing that was just not there. But let's go down kind of the list here.
But was it awkward, or was it just not like intuitive, meaning like it wasn't for the hardcore players? Because I definitely did I throw to the guy that I wanted to every time, or did I have an option? No, but was I able to throw it and make touchdowns? Like, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think my thing is, like, because you have to use the stick. The same stick that you use to move is the same stick that you use to aim.
Yeah, true.
Who you're going to throw it to.
You just have to be moving in that direction to throw it to him. Yeah.
Well, I was always moving back, and then when I threw it, I'd immediately go up to where, like, and plus I would just go back or to the side and also back because they're blitzing you every time. And then as soon as I needed to throw, I would just throw my joystick to that place and hit my button at the same time, and hopefully I wouldn't get blitzed on my face.
Exactly. But this is the thing, it's just like you're hoping that something weird doesn't happen. And I get it. It's like an early iteration of football games. I mean, they hadn't.
There's better football games than this around at the exact same time.
Oh, I 100% agree. But I guess that's my thing. Is just like this is like the fourth NFL Blitz, because they started making it in 1997. Like, they could have done something a little bit different, even just throwing the ball to, like, how you throw the ball, or how you throw the ball.
Yeah.
This is another, I feel like
mechanics.
I feel like this is another game, and I could be wrong, but I feel like this is another game that fell short of, it was a straight arcade port. Because if they had altered it a little bit and made it just a little bit more manageable on a console than than just like the goofiness of the arcade, I think it would have been more fun for me anyways. I don't know. I like a little bit more strategy than just hoping somebody catches the ball.
Yeah, but this, like, so when did this come out? 2001.
2001.
So
it came out in 2000. It came out in 2000.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got this game when the Dreamcast came out in 2000, and and the 10, 11-year-old me loved it. It was so much fun. Because it was
you
simple.
And I had played it a lot, Weston. Yeah,
like
we played it a lot
together. We played it. It was super fun. Like, it was enjoyable, and because it was kind of silly. It definitely was not for someone who is, I know that all of us, and, I can speak for, I know that Aaron and myself like challenging video games, and that was not it. So
Yeah.
like us, our 30-year-old selves didn't really love it, but the 10-year-old inside me was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, I'm still the 10-year-old over here, like, oh, this is awesome.
And like,
but you know what?
I was trying to enjoy it. I really was. I was really trying to have fun with it, which is why I played every different version of it and everything, just trying to see if it would be something a little bit different. And I couldn't get into it.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, you could. The thing about this game is you could make strategy out of it, though. Like, because I was down 30 to like 50 or like 40 something at one point in that screenshot I sent you last night, Aaron, and I came back and won that. I like dissected the game and was like, okay, if I do this and that, I can win this game, and it all just kind of worked out, and I ended up winning on like a buzzer beater, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
But so like you could make a little strategy out of the game and come back. It wasn't like if you're getting blown out, you're done, you know?
Yeah.
So there was that aspect of the game. If you could literally play good defense and keep yourself in the game, you can score pretty quick, you know? So
that's fair.
And then, you know, I think the upgrades really to these games from the previous ones were like season mode, the customizations, and the tournament, you know, like, so there was a tournament mode where you could just bracket teams and go for it, you know. And the customization mode, I actually made characters. I made all three of us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so what I had Weston as the running back, I was the quarterback obviously, and you were wide receiver, Aaron. And so like I just, you know, I was just playing around with it because I wanted to, you know, test out every aspect of the game, and it was cool. I mean, it was neat. You could make your own team and then throw your own players on there, customize them a little bit. It had like a kind of a breakdown of like changing their weight and their size and their pads and, you know, different things you could do like that. So I thought that was cool.
That is pretty cool.
But I think that was really kind of the upgrade stuff throughout. I don't think they really changed the gameplay too much, you know, other than maybe the graphics and things like that. But as far as, let's talk about kind of the technical details of it. Did you guys feel like the gameplay was overall smooth, even though you guys were getting pounded, or we were all getting pounded at times, you know? Weston?
By the way, I didn't get pounded at all. Even though like the game was ridiculous, like it wasn't hard. It just was like random. Like there was just times where it's just like, oh, I have this touchdown, and then literally I was in the end zone, and somehow like I was
fumbled.
literally running around, and then the guy hit me, fumbles, and then went for touchdown. So it wasn't like
that's
it was,
what I mean.
Yeah,
pounded.
Yeah,
I not lost, but just got hit.
It was just like what? Okay, anyway, but like I thought it was smooth. I didn't have like any weird glitches or anything else like that.
No.
It was fine. Like, and I did like that whenever you actually did hit someone. It kind of like thudded, so it felt like it felt like a clean connect with all that. Yeah, it was fine. The graphics like for Dreamcast weren't that great though.
Really, I thought it was better than Power Stone.
Well, yeah, most things were.
Yeah, that was the last real Dreamcast game we played in recent memory. So
I actually playing. Speaking of the graphics, playing all three. I actually ranked them. N64 had the best graphics, then Dreamcast, then PlayStation.
How is that
1.
possible?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dreamcast was so much better than all N64.
So,
that's so nuts.
So the weird thing, so they had basically the same character models and everything between the 64 and the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast had these really weird shadows that were like, if you look up screenshots of the game, or if you just go play the game on Dreamcast, the shots of the shadows on the ground are these weird white blocky shadows that just look, it's like a police crime. It's like a crime scene when somebody like chalk lines a murdered body on the ground. Like that's kind of what the shadows look like on the Dreamcast, and it's just weird.
That's funny.
And then the N64 had like actual shadows, and then the PS1 was really, really pixely, and whenever like somebody threw the ball or any distance the ball was going, it would have like this strange trail behind it, like the game was on acid, like it was just like slow-mo trailing through the air. It was very strange. So yeah, N64 shockingly had best graphics.
That's funny because I'm looking. I played this only on Dreamcast, and I'm looking at the N64 version right now, and I can see what you mean about the shadows and stuff. But as far as the characters themselves, were just so much more polished, in my opinion. It wasn't bad, and it wasn't really that much difference. But you could tell the polish from the Dreamcast. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
It might be. Maybe I really didn't tell that much of a difference on the actual character models versus just the I really honed in on that shadows on the Dreamcast specifically because it looked super weird to me.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. As far as kind of the audio, how did you feel about that? How did you guys feel about that, Weston?
It was fine. It was like the same.
Yeah.
It was the same thing over and over again. So it wasn't like a lot of variety, but I don't know. It was like it was C tier, I guess, in my opinion. It wasn't great. It didn't annoy me though. It wasn't like just like, oh, this is so like, I didn't get like that weird tinge where I just had to turn it off. So that was good, but it definitely wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah. I agree with that. I would say too. The funny thing I thought about, because like I mentioned the funk riff, the bass riff,
right?
That just like was over and over again. But like the announcers were kind of like Quake or like Dota announcers. Were just like I remember like I got my helmet knocked off at one point, and the announcer shouted decapitation and like stuff like weird stuff like that. That was kind of fun. Like they're shouting like wrestling moves while they're tackling each other, which was fun. It like there's like gunshots when you throw the ball and like bowling pin noises when you knock people over, and it sounded like an old Western saloon fight scene, which was really funny. The voices were hilariously not good, but I think so. I mean, like I think the audio was comedic more than even the gameplay for me. I actually enjoyed listening to the game just because it was so outrageously goofy, like way over the top. The only thing I didn't really like is that like the commentators really didn't add anything to the game other than like telling you maybe how many yards you just got or what down it was, or like I said, if somebody did something crazy and like they shouted decapitation or whatever, which like versus like Madden at this time, like Madden 2001. I actually went and watched some gameplay of Madden 2001, and the commentators are like actually not as advanced as they are nowadays, obviously, but surprisingly like intuitive as far as talking about what players just did what, if they're measuring things, if it's going to have to go to review, and just, you know, like these little extra things that would actually happen in a football game, that it just makes it feel a lot more like you're playing a football game. Like this is like you're playing an arcade game, and that's fine. Like I know that's what this is supposed to be. It just wasn't like that kind of. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah, I think it made it more intriguing than like having it with no sound, you know, because I did play it with listening to podcasts and stuff, but like those little hits and, you know, things like that. I think I had more fun after the play just slamming everybody to the ground, you know, between that 10 seconds, you know.
Yeah, that was kind of fun, actually, that you could basically just keep doing whatever you wanted after a play happened. Yeah, that was fairly entertaining. I'll give it that, yeah.
True.
Yeah, and then just like the tackles and just like taking their arm and then slamming them on the other side of you, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, so the thing is like, if you, like, I was reading up on like the rules of this, like there's no pass interference in this game. And just obviously. Obviously. And just like things like that. Like there's just, you're never going to get a flag called on you for anything. You know, I could put a hole in the quarterback's chest and it would be fine. Like those kinds of things make it a little bit silly and fun, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Aaron, you're just trying to take this too seriously in the end.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely am. This is serious,
just like
you guys.
The game itself. It's not football. It's kind of football. Just having, you know, just with crazy antics and, you know, engine.
Google Stadia is sponsoring this podcast and is paying me to be here, and I am taking it seriously. Okay, and I wish you guys would do the same.
Gotcha. All right. So, as far as anything else in the game, is there any other comments you had? I think we've kind of broken it down to its core here. And really analyzed what's been going on with this.
Yeah, I'm. So my last comment is, I think that you and Aaron should play it next time you're together, and then give a quick 5-minute update to what this game is like with two people in the same room. Because I have a feeling that Aaron is going to give it like a 3 today, and then he's gonna give it like at least a 7 after you guys play it.
Dude.
Or
Like,
he's
you know
gonna
what?
murder you. One of the two.
You know what?
Yeah,
Actually,
we're gonna be working in the same office pretty
I don't
soon,
know.
so it's
That's
definitely
true.
happening at once.
That's true.
So.
We might never talk at work again ever if we play this together.
It'd be like the person who works in the cubicle next to me. Usually, we never say anything except for like work, basically. So,
well, I'm gonna be like in an entirely separate part of the office anyway, so it's whatever. Anyway,
It's not that big, Aaron.
it's not that big.
Hey,
That's what
this
she
isn't
said.
Google. Calm down.
You're not.
That's what
you're
she
not on
said.
a different floor.
This
You're in a
isn't
different
Google
room.
Stadia. Okay, you're not working for Stadia. Calm down.
look. First of all, I do work for Google Stadia. How dare you? A boy can dream.
Oh man, good times. Okay, so only one thing to do is to. I had one more comment.
replayability.
My closing comments on this game was, this didn't have an injury mode, and thank goodness it was before Tony Romo came along, because this game would have invented an injury mode for Tony Romo.
Oh my
God!
Lord.
All right. Really quickly, I would like to my final comment, because we usually talk about replayability and we didn't. Well, I mean, we sort of did in passing.
Because you're going to replay it, and you have to.
We did. Yeah.
For my show notes, my replayability just says no. That's all.
Well, you better change that to yes, because when you get here, we're playing it.
Oh Jesus!
I'm gonna get Noah, your son, into it like really, really big time, and all he's gonna want to do is play NFL Blitz with
How
you.
dare you
That's
speak his
cruel,
name?
man.
That's rude.
All right, so let's rank this thing. I think I'm gonna start with Aaron, and we're doing footballs.
Are we doing football? I said Lombardi trophies is what I said.
All right,
but
that's
football,
fine, too.
I mean, football's
Trophies.
just fine. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do cleats.
Yeah, so I actually initially I ranked this as 0 out of 10. I did, but you know what? For the sake of an olive branch to this game and to you guys, and the possibility that we might have a few too many beers and drink it at some point, or drink a few too many beers and play it together at some point, I'll give it a 2 out of 10.
All right,
Together at
cool.
some point.
Weston.
Yep, it is a 5.5. I think that it definitely has something there. It's not the worst game I've ever played by any means, but it was less. Yeah, I think Aaron took. I'm in the camp that I think Aaron took it way too seriously. I think that it was definitely not like it wasn't. I didn't want to play it any more than I did. I would play it with you guys if we were together for sure and try it again. I think that definitely you guys need to try it and kind of come back to it. But I think I think it's a 5.5 out of 10, maybe a 5, not even 5.5. It's a 5 out of 10. Didn't have much depth. It's an arcade game. But is it a bad arcade game? I don't think it's bad actually. It's just not a Sega. This game.
It's a bad console game.
It's a bad console game.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay, one of these days I'm gonna have a man cave, and this arcade
Dude,
retro
we're in
version
a
of this
pandemic.
game
Why aren't you
gonna
building this as we
be
speak?
in it.
I'm about to Google this right now. Hold on a second.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give this game a 7 out of 10.
Oh my god,
because
you're nuts.
it was really smooth. It was fun, cartoonish yet fun, but it had some. If you could dissect it into its version of its own football game and play it and put some strategy to it, you know. So, but anyway, because there was a lot of comebacks I had to get because I was down like 21 in the first quarter, and then I came back and won the game by a lot. So
I just linked you an NFL Blitz 2000 and 2000 gold arcade cabinet. It's $1,400. Good luck.
Done.
You get it.
You know what? I'll double that.
Dude,
for
once we get our Google Stadia, first check from them,
Once
that's
we
what
get
I'm buying.
that money.
Yep, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so 7 out of 10 for me, just because it was overall for what it was. The game, it was a well-made game, and I'm, there was nothing real like except for I fumbled a lot, but that was probably my own fault. So anyway. That's it.
I hated it so much. I have more to say, but I'm gonna not say anything.
All right. I think we've said it all.
Just let it go, bud.
I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna be like Elsa right now.
Yeah, I'm counting down the minutes till you show up here in Texas.
God. Just because it's supposed to be ridiculous doesn't make it good. All right, I'm done.
All right, guys. Well, closing the book on that one. We're gonna put a bookmark in it because we will be back.
No, we're not.
No, you have to.
Yeah.
No.
Now it's just a trope.
I'm calling the 2-versus-1 rule, dude. You got to
Oh my
do it.
God.
Sorry.
Oh,
I would.
Yeah.
I would rather play 1v1 Power Stone. I would rather play.
Nope.
Sit. I would
Nope.
rather sit.
Yeah,
and
but you're
play
not. You're not going to play
Simpsons.
either of those.
Simpsons Road Rage with you.
Well, it's either this or Perfect Dark, Aaron. So get
Oh
on
my
it, too.
God! I would rather play Perfect Dark.
No way.
Actually,
Oh.
no.
Oh.
You know what? That's a lie. I would rather play this in Perfect Dark. I would. I would
There
rather
we
play
go.
this in Perfect Dark. I would. All right.
All right, cool. So let's talk a little bit about next week. Aaron had a surprise game that we absolutely have to do. But,
Okay.
Voting's a thing here, so
Yeah, it's not a thing today. So this is what we're playing. Okay. All right. So this game is called Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City. Okay. So I want you guys to tell
I
me.
know
really-
what this game is, and we are so playing this game.
Okay, so you know what it is.
No.
So I don't think Weston knows what it is, and I want Weston to explain to me what he thinks it is before I tell you what it is. So Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City. Tell me what the game is about, please, and thank you go.
It's about. I literally almost looked it up, but I'm not going to.
Don't
Okay,
do
so
it. No.
Chaos in Winter City is about how Michael Jordan is he plays himself, Michael Jordan, the best basketball player ever to play this game. But then there's like a murder mystery or some sort of things happening in the underground, and he has to go around the city and figure out the mystery and save the city from the chaos in the Windy City.
Okay,
Bro, you're not far off.
I'm pretty sure you looked it up.
No, I promise you, and I'm not lying. I have this in my Google about to press enter, and I did not look it up at all.
Well, just let
Okay.
Aaron read it to you then.
So I'm not going to read anything. I'm just going to tell
okay.
you guys about it and rant in my normal fashion. So I was just randomly searching for games, and I saw this, and the title just caught my eye, and I was like, this is a weird, like, I've never heard of this basketball game. And so I Googled it, and it's not a basketball game. It is literally a 2D platformer, like, mystery game where you play as Michael Jordan fighting monsters, and you throw basketballs at them to defeat them.
Oh my god,
and
I was so right.
So, okay, so the first level, I'm just going to give our listeners a brief foray look into our next podcast. The first level, and by the way, this game actually has a fairly good amount of story involved in it, and as far as like it has like a comic book rollout for the story. So you're going to a museum to meet a mysterious individual who's like summoned you to meet them at the museum, and you meet them in the mummy exhibit, and you find an underground prison in the mummy exhibit of the museum as Michael Jordan, and now you have to go through the prison
Yes.
and find this mysterious person who summoned you there. He's wearing his basketball clothes. It's like midnight.
Because that's
for-
what he does. Because he's Michael
for-
Jordan.
For whatever reason, the guard just let him in to the museum because he's Michael Jordan, I guess. I mean, he could get away with murder, literally and figuratively. And it's just, he, for some reason, has a basketball with him that he's using to beat up monsters. Infinite basketballs that he's throwing to heal himself. He finds Gatorade that the monsters drop. Why do the monsters have Gatorade? I don't know. We'll find out next week.
All right. That was a good primer. Yeah,
Thank you.
so he is abducted by a mad scientist, Maximus Cranium.
Well, don't ruin the story for me. I haven't played it yet.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Are we legit playing this game?
We are
Yeah.
100% playing this. I played it a little bit earlier, actually. It's pretty good. We're playing it for next week.
I'm very excited for this.
We are 100% playing this game.
Oh my god. The other game that we were gonna play, I was so excited for, but I guess we're playing this one.
Well,
This could be the
I'd like
sleeper
Which
best
one?
game that we've ever played.
Which one was that? Which one did you think we were gonna play?
Oh, never mind. I misread the show notes. I saw a link to the past, and I was like, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because so a couple of games that I suggested Spyro the Dragon. And I also,
God, yes.
Yeah, we need to play that at some point. And also, as a little bit of a joke, I suggested Land Before Time, the Great Valley Racing Adventure.
If you want me to cry, sure.
I mean,
Dude.
it's amazing.
Yeah, so I think all of those games are on the docket going forward.
Okay.
So
you know what? Those are the next 3 games we'll play. It's fine.
Let's do this in like a month. The next 4 episodes, let's all get Link to the Past and let's play it and try to beat it, and then that'll be the game. Kind of we play overtime. Yeah, you have it on
Link to the Super Nintendo, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have that then. Yeah.
So that'll be one we play down the line, but we'll play this and then one of those other games coming up too. So.
Cool.
I'm down for some rando, just fun ones, that aren't going to be
I'm down.
epically grueling. So anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Awesome. So Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City.
I'm
next
so
week.
excited. Oh my God.
All right. So just getting into a little bit of a news. This news item's kind of old, but I know we haven't talked about it yet. So I just kind of want to get your take on it. The HBO Max is recutting the Justice League into the Snyder Cut. And if you don't know what the Snyder Cut is, it is Zack Snyder, who was fired in the middle of Justice League and replaced by Joss Whedon, which did the Avengers, had his vision of that movie, The Justice League, and it was totally botched and moved around and turned into what was released. And so they are recutting this movie in his way that the internet has been crying for since the day this movie came out.
Yeah.
And putting it on HBO Max. So what's kind of your reaction to this, Weston?
So I read a little bit more into this, number one, and I guess everyone was saying that he was fired, but there was someone who died.
His wife was sick.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was?
I'm pretty sure she had. I'm actually pretty sure she had like cancer or something. Like his wife was sick though, and that's why he left doing the movie. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, no. After the death of his daughter, I'm reading it right now.
Oh, his daughter. Okay.
So
okay.
his daughter died,
away.
and he just stepped away. And I guess that Josh Whedon was already with them, like doing something. So it was just like, all right, just take it over, man. Like I just can't deal with this. So, but obviously that movie, at least in my opinion, dude, I fell asleep during that movie. That's how much I didn't like it. Like I was not into Justice League. So maybe I need to just try to rewatch it. But I like Zack Snyder, and I think that his vision of the movie being able to be reimagined is awesome, and it's so much longer. Which I don't know how you like movies, but I love long movies because it gives the director and the cast time to really develop the story. That's why these long format shows where they're like each episode's an hour, but there's 12 of them are so much cooler.
So much better.
The fact that this is going to be, I think, 5 hours and it's going to be a series on HBO.
6-part series.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm actually pretty excited for this because the movie, The Justice League, that came out when it did, I wasn't very excited about, but this version of it I think is going to be sweet, especially because it's 5.5 or 6 hours, 45 minutes to an hour episodes for 6 episodes. Woo.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
That makes me happy as heck.
The villain in the movie was not Zack Snyder's villain, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all comes together with
so cool.
Who's the villain? Not Apocalypse, but the other guy.
The interesting
Doomsday
DC guy. Doomsday. Yeah.
Sorry. The interesting thing is, I'm pretty sure, because I have HBO Max, and I'm pretty sure all of the DC Universe stuff is like coming off of it soon. So I'm wondering if they're just like re-upping the contracts or what have you in 2021 to bring it all back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just kind of curious about that. I'm not sure.
That's interesting because the Warner has they have a deal with HBO Max, and they've actually taken stuff off of DC Universe to put it on HBO Max for this. So.
Well, Warner Brothers owns HBO, so that makes sense.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there you go. It's all together.
Well, even now, like HBO Now and HBO Go just turned into HBO Max because I have it as well, and that happened like less than a month ago. And and when they did that, they've added a ton of library. Like they have all the Studio Ghibli movies on there now, and that's the first time that's ever been done that they've reached a deal with. So I think and obviously HBO Go and HBO Now has the streaming platform has been doing well because of their original content mainly. But the fact that they're actually trying to add these really, and they had good movies on there before, but they're trying to add like exclusive only content that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Obviously they want a slice of the Amazon and the Netflix pie.
Oh yeah.
That's what they're doing.
I've been enjoying HBO Max so far.
Too.
I mean, it's been really good. I've been watching Love Life with Katie. She really likes that show. Anna Kendrick's show is really good.
Nice.
His Dark Materials is really good too. The Golden Compass show. It's nice because it's like on HBO. It's still for kids. Like there's no cursing, there's no violence or anything like that.
Yeah, I watched it all.
That was really surprising, and I really enjoyed that. And this segment brought to you by HBO Max. HBO Max.
HBO Max, please give us money.
HBO Max, enjoy your entertainment to the max.
There's talk of some more DC stuff in that universe too coming if this does well. So
the DC universe, is there more than one?
Well, in the movie universe.
Oh, okay.
So there's the TV universe and the movie universe.
Did you guys watch the Harley Quinn movie, by the way?
I did.
No.
It was. No. What did you think of it, Weston?
I was, actually, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I think it was one of the best DC movies that they made.
Really?
Really? Oh, yeah. Man. I did not like it very much.
No?
I thought it was, well, okay, let me rephrase that. I felt it was very in the middle.
So let me say this is I'm not, okay, as a movie, like I wasn't really into the characters and anything like that. I had no connection. But just as like a movie, like setup, like production quality, I thought it was a good movie. So, but did I like it? Like, am I ever going to watch it again? No. So I'm just saying, just from like a production of like looking at it from the standard of like what a good movie is, and like, I thought it was okay. I definitely thought it was on the top, like the bigger end of some of the DC movies of just like, wow, that was actually like the story made sense. This was like before the acting was decent, but I didn't like any of the characters overall, and I just wasn't like into it. So if that tells you anything, like I think it was a good, quote unquote movie, but I didn't really like any of the characters. Does that make sense? So
it does make sense. I was gonna say like, because like I kind of agree with you. Like I felt like the movie flow was decent. I think there was just some like not plot holes, but like just like weird stuff. Like how are they just finding her so easily? They're just like things like that. I really like Ewan McGregor a lot though. He is my man crush, and I love him to death. And anything he's ever in, I'll go gladly see. He was a fantastic villain. I think that's the first time I've seen him as a villain. But just in general, I felt like the movie kind of tried a little bit too hard with like the weird, the Borderlands-esque introductions to characters and things like that. I just felt like it was trying a little bit too hard to be like cutesy Deadpool cutting like edgy kind of thing.
Oh, it 100% was doing that, and it and it did not, like, obviously in comparison to how Deadpool's done Deadpool did Deadpool perfectly. Like those both of those movies are like awesome. But this was trying to, but I'm just saying in the realm of DC, besides obviously the original Batmans, which are the best superhero movies in my opinion.
The Christopher Nolan ones.
Yeah, the Christopher Nolan ones are incredible. But besides that, like all the other DC stuff that's come out has been like, there's been some shining points to it, but overall, I haven't really like loved all the stuff.
Yeah, I've been pretty whelmed. I was just kind of curious on your take on it. We haven't really talked about it.
Yeah, it's interesting because Henry Cavill's back as Superman.
I know,
he said he wasn't going to do anymore, but like he's back. The new Aquaman and Black Adam movie and all that stuff. So
I just hope he shaves his mustache off.
Yeah, for sure. Them editing the mustache out digitally for the
edited
movie
mustache. Yeah, I mean they'd have to do the same thing for me, so I respect him for keeping the mustache because I wouldn't shave mine off either. They'd have to digitally edit that out,
bro. You'd just be like the mustache man. You know,
I'd be like
it takes on a cape of its own.
What's that fella's name? I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, the DC stuff is I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think it's been pretty underwhelming as like a whole. But I think they're getting there, man. I don't know. Like, I got hope because
Aquaman was good.
Yeah, I see. That's what I'm saying. Is Aquaman was like, it was almost there for me. Like, I liked it,
Wonder
but
Woman
I didn't.
was fantastic.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was good. That's true.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I think Wonder
There's
Woman.
a new one coming out this year.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
overall, like the Marvel ones have been just so much better.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. So I think they're getting there. They're just like they just need. I don't think they really get it yet. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the thing is like Marvel found that formula that works, where it's just like, it's like 30% drama, 70% comedy, everything in between, littered
Nonstop
with action.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And it's just like, it's just good. And and they found that kind of like that niche, and they stick to it, and they keep going with it, and it works. And DC started off with the Christopher Nolan Batman movies that were like the really big Batman movies anyways, and kind of like sort of tried to stick with that, but it just didn't continue to work for every superhero. And then it just like spiraled into them like sort of trying to make things funny and sort of trying to make things interesting,
Right.
Like how Marvel had been doing their films. And it's like you said, it's just, they're almost there. And I actually feel like Shazam was essentially a Marvel movie. I fully enjoyed it.
That's the best DC movie.
That is
100%.
the best DC movie. Other than I would. Wonder Woman is really well done.
Wonder Woman's good too.
But yeah, Shazam was
really
pretty
good.
much perfect as far as like superhero movies are concerned. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, like you said, they're like almost there with their formula, but it's just lacking a certain something.
Yeah.
And they're, I don't know, they'll get there eventually.
Like, I don't know about you, and you can maybe like, because Mason like always has a different take than me. But for me, what the DC movies have gone like wrong is they've been trying to be like really dark,
right,
and then add this weird humor in and be super
Yeah.
serious. But also they don't understand like their characters enough to know like how can I make this serious but still relatable? Like all of the characters in the Marvel movies, they have serious moments or whatever, but you kind of understand like where they're at, and they don't take themselves like so seriously where it's not like fun. Like they're badasses, but at the same time they're it's pretty jovial. But like the DC tried to, and Batman did that correctly because it was real. Like they didn't have to make these like there wasn't these fake monsters or fake superheroes. It was just Batman as a true like hero.
Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Right.
It was so good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and they've just like tried to replicate that Batman, Begins through, I don't know, Dark Knight or whatever the trilogy was. They've like tried to like take that, like you said, that like dark, gritty superhero and translate it, and like it just didn't really take.
I think one of the biggest mistakes they made with the whole Ben Affleck Batman was they should have given him a standalone movie before Batman versus Superman, because I like the idea of an older Batman. I don't want another origin story, which we're probably going to get with Robert Pattinson.
Right.
But I liked that idea of having that older Batman. He's been through some stuff, but I wanted him to go through some stuff before and just see like who he was, because all we knew was he just was Batman, and he had some skeletons, and Robin died, and we didn't know. We didn't get to see a scope of what was going on with his life,
Well,
at that point. And
it's almost like, in a certain way, what you're describing is almost kind of like what they did with Spider-Man Into the Multiverse, where they just skip, it. The origin story. It's been done to death. You don't need to worry about it.
True.
There's been 25 movies about it. Just skip it, and then make your older Batman. Make him gritty. It's almost like Batman Beyond, where they have I mean, yes, obviously they have the younger I don't remember his name, but the younger Batman origin story, so to speak. But they have that older Batman there that he's been through so much, and you can tell that story, and that's what they needed to do. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and Michael Keaton Batman, that's where they really went right with that too, is they started kind of just, it's Batman, and that was the first iteration of Batman that was ever known as dark. The comics were always, really bright and Adam Westy, kind of thing. And then when that movie came out, it changed Batman Forever, Then following that came the animated series, and then going forward with all the comics and stuff.
Because the Keaton ones, weren't those the Tim Burton directed ones?
Yeah,
right?
The two Keaton ones.
Yeah, that's
and then after that, they went off the rails. But
yeah,
I would love to see a Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton. I think that'd be awesome.
Oh, nuts! That'd be so cool.
Don't even.
Yeah, Kevin Smith's been trying to get that going.
Speaking of Batman Beyond and Miles Morales, we have other news to get into.
Yes, sir. So, quick game announcement that happened this week was Star Wars Squadrons is just like an all-space battle. Is coming out, which looks sick.
Yeah.
Basically the game everyone's been asking for forever.
For like 10 or 12 years. Yeah.
Yeah. All space battle, $40 at release, number one.
Yes.
That's
full
sick.
crossplay and full PSVR support, which is just absolutely sick.
Somebody's gonna throw up.
Yeah, I was like,
dude, I'm buying those. Yep. I'm buying the actual controls now because I didn't get them for Ace Combat, but I'm getting that for this game. Especially since the game's $40, I'll probably spend $40 on the controls, pre-owned. So I'm so stoked for this.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that looks cool. I think they're doing it right with the $40 release. $40 because it's right before all the new systems come out, obviously.
Yeah.
So it'll port to all of those systems, I'm sure, and live on in its own. So
I was gonna say they'll probably have a bunch of DLC for it too. So they'll probably launch it at 40 and then
actually no. They've said no. Well, maybe DLC, but no microtransactions. They've come out.
Yeah.
They came out straight out of the gate and said they're not doing a Battlefront thing.
Yeah, I kind of figured. They would because they did that with BF2. I think they did the no microtransactions. Right. But yeah,
and that's what sank that entire game.
Sure. Yeah, really. But yeah, I know. I'm sure they'll do like some DLC expansions for $20 or whatever, like they do with Destiny and all that fun stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, so this will be cool. It's cool because you can play it, like one of us can play it on PC. I can play it on VR, wherever we want to play it kind of thing. So we can all jump in and play this pretty easily, which is
absolutely.
fun. So
hopefully it'll come to Stadia. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that was kind of an out of nowhere announcement this week that was cool with Game Fest going on in the summertime. So, and also back to the DC thing. DC is having a conference next month, and they're teamed obviously with Rocksteady for another Arkham game. So there's a lot of rumors coming out about that for PS5. So I'm definitely interested to see that. All right, so moving on to we're gonna talk about the PlayStation 5 that happened last week. And me and Aaron had some takes on the podcast last week of what we kind of wanted to see, and we can kind of hash that out now. But overall, just first off reaction, what'd you think, Weston? What'd you think of that announcement?
I mean, we just knew it was coming, which was cool, and expected like what it was gonna be like. Obviously,
did it live up, or was it like kind of like meh, whatever,
Man, I don't know. It just depends on what world you're in and what you like, because it wasn't groundbreaking in my opinion. It's just, it's the next console, which is really cool. The game, like 50% of the games look dope. Like they look really, really good, and I'm sure they're gonna play great. We kind of already had a thread going, throughout the week, which I think a lot of it just comes down to is the price, because my computer, or even let's say I spent like $200 more to upgrade my graphics, so my computer plays these essentially what the console does. But like,
for sure.
Yeah, like I mean my computer. So for me to buy like a console that's gonna, and those games, like I said, some of them look very, very, very good. I'm not like doubting that, like the ray tracing and because what at this point in any game, what they're trying to do is basically we're getting into the era where things are going to start looking like Pixar games did like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Or
Pixar movies, sorry, or like animated movies. Like they're getting really, really well, and how they do that is they're putting ray tracing in the game. Like the lighting technique is just, and the particle density stuff like that is so good.
Yeah.
And like the Spider-Man game, come on.
Oh man.
I think who doesn't want to play that?
It was funny. I was like, Spider-Man would have to be a launch title for me to get the PlayStation at PS5, and I just can't see that happening. That's what I said last week. And straight out the gate, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which I'm so stoked about. I think that's awesome that they're taking it in that direction. The first game was so good, but and they left it with like some cliffhangers and stuff, but I just, him picking up that mantle and going, whether or not they come out with a sequel to the original as Peter Parker or whatnot. But man, I'm so excited. I think it's going to be awesome.
I'm really interested to see about the story of that game and whether I mean, I don't know if they've released the info or not. I haven't done any research, but if if they're going to be like doing kind of like an Into the Multiverse sort of thing with it, or what? I mean, that'd be sick if they did.
Well, in the first Spider-Man, Miles Morales played a pretty big part. So,
did he? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So he was in the game a lot, and then the ending, he becomes like a wall crawler.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of had the push towards that way, but it they didn't exclusively say that because of the huge cliffhanger at the end of the game. So
yeah.
Which is cool. So I'm definitely stoked for that. Another awesome game that looked great was the new Horizon game. I think those are the two that really stood out to me. And then there's like a Square game that's coming out, Project Athea.
That looked really cool too.
That looks cool. So, but that Horizon game, dude, like, I'm so excited.
I was a big fan of the original.
Gran Turismo 7 looked pretty stinking realistic as well.
Yeah, it looked good. Yeah. It just, I don't know if the rollout wasn't great for me. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm ready to move on to the next thing,
Yeah, I think Gran Turismo, when I saw it, I was excited, but then I was like, this kind of looks like something that could be on PS4. And maybe I'm wrong.
I think it was a lot smoother as far as that, because I played Gran Turismo Sport a lot.
Okay, yeah.
And it looked just smoother from right off.
Yeah, fair enough.
But,
but I was just gonna ask you guys, like, I'm sure you talked about this last week, like, but how big of a percentage do you think these games look better than like the PS4? Because normally, like going from PS3 to PS4, there's like a massive difference, right? Or like PS2 to PS3. I think they look really
marginal.
Good, but what do you think percentage wise do they look better?
Do you want to go first? Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, percentage-wise, maybe 10%, honestly. Most of these, I'm like, I could buy this on PS4 Pro right now. I kept texting Aaron during the announcement. I was like, PS4 Pro game, PS3 game, some of these. But Spider-Man, I definitely could tell an update. And I watched some, like, side-by-side of those, and there was definitely a smoother, even more realistic feel to the game. So.
Yeah, 100% agree with Mason. There's games on there that are obviously there's independent games that they announced, which is cool that they included a lot of independent games versus just AAA games.
Yeah,
a lot of those games can easily be played on a mid-range PC or a PS3. So
I was like, I think this is on Apple Arcade for a couple.
Yeah, like
honestly,
really could be. Like a lot of those games weren't visually impressive. It's just cool that they're making them, kind of thing. But because the thing I think the biggest thing with the generational launches is you want to see the next iteration of technology, and when you don't see that, it's a little disappointing. And I mean, you have the Horizon didn't really look Horizon was, I think, all pre-rendered, the whole video. I don't think any of that was actual gameplay.
I don't know, man. That game looks so much more polished to me because I played the first one a lot.
Oh,
and I beat the first one a lot, and it looked so much more polished.
But I don't think any of that was gameplay. I'm pretty sure it was all pre-rendered video, which that's what I'm saying is that's why it looks more polished.
Right.
But like obviously, like some of Spider-Man was actual gameplay. The Project Athena, I think it was called, was
Athea,
actual game. Yeah, Athea was actual gameplay. Like there was like the Demon Souls was actual gameplay. Like there was stuff in there that like the PS5 exclusive stuff did look a little bit better.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that they showed us that was essentially PS4, PS3, nothing crazy. So it was pretty whelming, the presentation that they gave. I'm sure we'll see some cool stuff. The big thing for me though is just like looking at like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox X 420 Cool Dude 69X, whatever the hell it's called, like they both kind of just are already outdated. You can get graphics cards that have, you know, just as many teraflops. You can get processors that have just as high of a processing speed.
Oh no, it'd be better. I mean,
better.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like these the PS5 and the Xbox are gonna have basically like a mid-range graphics card in them.
Yeah, they're literally already outdated, which was the same problem that the PS4 had and the Xbox One had, is that they were already outdated the moment they hit the shelves. And so it's a little bit hard to imagine that what we're going to get from them is going to be anything better than what the current generation is already giving us. So for me, it's just the only reason to buy it is just for the exclusives. It's just for the Horizon Zero Dawns. It's just for the Ratchet and Clanks, which I want to play. It's just for the Spider-Mans, which I want to play. Like, it's all like, I want to play those games, but I'm gonna buy it when the PS6 comes out, probably, because I'm not gonna spend an arm and a leg on it just to play those games, you know, at launch. It's just not. There's not enough value to it.
So I'll get it. I'll probably get it. Like for me, it did enough to where I'm like, all right, as long as it's not like $700. If it's $400, sign me up. I'll buy it tomorrow. Like,
it's not gonna
give me that Spider-Man bundle. Yeah. If it's $500, I'll have to think about it a little more. Like, do I want to wait till like a holiday sale or something like that? But yeah, I mean, it's gonna do enough for me to upgrade eventually. Sure. If it just depends on what launch is going to be and look like, and how many games are going to be dual ported and things like that, you know. So
I have a like seeking suspicion that when we see this like not on a YouTube video on our phone, that these games are going to look a lot better because even now, like if you get a really nice, like some of the most beautiful PS4 games like the new God of War, and put it on a PS4 Pro on a 4K TV, it looks stinking good. And and even on your like a YouTube video, it's gonna look good. But I think all these games should run 4K native with 60 FPS. Like that's what they've been like. That's what they've always promised is like we want every game to be 4K native, 60 FPS. And the PS4 Pro and even like Xbox One X, they could kind of do that. The Pro did it like to like a lesser degree, and then the Xbox One X did it actually relatively well. But there was a noticeably difference graphically when you play like an Xbox. No one bought the Xbox One X, but I definitely was able to see it in action, and it was noticeable. But like you're right, with us, at least me having like a super high end PC, is it going to be better than stuff that I'm used to? I don't know. I hope
probably not.
Probably not. I hope that the titles are good enough, and then it's going to be good enough. Because the cool thing about consoles, what they've always done is they've taken a lesser quality hardware, and through programming, they've been able to make the games run smoother or just react in a different way than PC.
Oh yeah.
So
well, and I will say, I mean, that's a really good point because it's kind of like, you know, people like dogging like iPhones versus Android, which Android is a very broad term, but like if you compare like an iPhone to a Samsung, like a Samsung's
specs
on paper is twice as powerful as an iPhone.
True.
But if you take an iPhone, because it's all proprietary and it's meant to work together perfectly, runs just as well, if not better, than a Samsung phone. And so you have that advantage to a certain degree. I think my biggest thing with these right now is just not even necessarily the out of the box outdatedness of it, which is a big factor, but the fact that you only have a 1 terabyte hard drive in the Xbox and an 825 in the PlayStation. And when you think about that, these are solid state drives. The whole selling point of these consoles is that they will load these games in a second or half a second or whatever versus 20 seconds, okay?
Yeah.
Which means it has to be installed, the entire game, on that solid state drive. The average game is 50 to 100 gigabytes nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be probably even a little bit bigger for these newer games. So you're maybe going to fit 10 games on a hard drive. Now, if you look at what are they called? NVMe hard drives, right? They cost $180. So you're going to spend an extra almost $200 for another terabyte to throw into your PlayStation 5 so you can play some more games, or you're going to uninstall those games and then you're going to have to reinstall them if you want to play them later. It's just a pain in the ass. Like, it's not a step forward, in my opinion. And I feel like this is kind of gaming right now. There's no steps forward. It's just like preference. Like for me, like I prefer the Stadia, even though it has a smaller library. It's quicker, but you have like the PS5 and the Xbox, which have like these amazing libraries, and you can play it offline. I can't play mine offline. Like you can play those offline, and it's fine. And it's just like this weird preference of what you want to do with it. But I feel like that space, that storage, is really holding these guys back, these two consoles back right now. And Microsoft is having a proprietary solid state drive, so it might cost just as much. Might cost a little bit less, but it might cost just as much as the PlayStation. As getting an NVMe for the PlayStation 5. And
my theory on this is that they didn't release price because they're going to have a whole tier, of like, it's going to be like buying an iPad, it's going to be like, do you want the 16 or do you want the 32 or do you want the 256 or do you want the 1 terabyte or the 2 terabytes or like 5 terabytes or whatever? But I think it's going to be like start at 1, upgrade to 3, upgrade to 5. And the highest one's going to be up into like $800-900,
I don't think it's gonna be that expensive, just because. But I could definitely see it going, because so this is the thing that consoles have the ability to do, is they almost, or if they slightly lose money in the beginning, because almost every PlayStation console has they've lost money on the console.
They take a hit on
so
the
they
hardware.
sell and obviously they're buying the parts for wholesale, and then they lose a little bit on the console, and then they make it up on the games, and then eventually once the hardware gets cheaper, they make it on the hardware, in the long run. But that's the cool thing, is hopefully they offer you like 5 terabytes at like $100 more for like 2 or 3 more terabytes versus it being.
I would for sure pick that up.
Because that does make sense. Having the tiered, basically putting like breaking even or whatever on the 1 terabyte, but then like people like us that we know, want to have more than 10 games in their library, and because that's a super valid point that Aaron made, where games are 100 gigabytes, and if you take a game that's going to be played in 4K, it's going to be even bigger. So let's just say it's going to be 100, like a standard is going to be 100. That's 10 games on your console. Like I would buy the one with 5 terabytes if it was $100 more. But if you're talking about every 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes being an extra $200, that gets insane really quick.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we'll just see how they roll it out. But that's kind of my theory on it, at least. Would you get a digital or would you get a disc?
I get a digital personally, because it's going to have to be installed anyways. What's the difference?
Yeah, it's just you can trade the discs.
Yeah, I'd get the disc just because I've learned this actually from Mason, where I always get the disc now, even if I plan to, I'm just it's gonna sit on my hard drive, but just the ability to trade it into like GameStop or wherever, like the trade-ins are worth enough that and then you can always play it online or give it to your friends or whatever. I can give it to my nephew after I beat it or something.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, I'll take that back, because I would get the disc, and I'll tell you why, because of the backwards compatibility.
Yeah. Throw in some old PS4 games. Yeah.
Right, because you can play the PS4 games. I will actually say this too for the Xbox. The one big thing is the Xbox Series X is backwards compatible all the way back to the very first Xbox.
Gosh,
which
that's
is
awesome.
Super cool, and I will give them props for that. That is a really interesting and really
why
really
shouldn't it be?
cool
That's
feature.
my question. Like, why haven't they done this from the beginning?
That's what's really making me upset about PS5 is they're like, we're gonna do backwards compatibility with a huge swath of PS4 games. It's like, give me those PS2, like I can throw, or like I have a disc of Digimon World, PS1. Give me that so I can throw it in, kind of thing. That's just really frustrating.
Or just give me the library to download for free.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Well,
sure.
and the thing
too.
is I mean, like, they have the PS Now, and it might, I mean, it might be a little bit of a money grab just to be able to get more money from PS Now, so you don't have to
Which
worry
PS
about
Now
all
is
those
pretty
old-
sweet now, especially at that price point. So
Yeah.
But yeah, if you just want to jump in and have 500 games at your disposal for a few bucks a month, you know.
Yeah, just do Stadia that way.
This podcast again brought to you by Google Stadia.
By Google Stadia.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of questions. I thought it was, you know, I told Aaron in text. I said, well, in the first 5 minutes, it's lived up to everything that I asked for this thing, you know, except for showing me the console. Because I asked last week. I said it's got to have a Spider-Man game on launch is really what's going to put me over the edge for it, you know, and that's the first thing they showed, you know. So
yeah.
Like,
and I said, you know, if they launched a new Ratchet and Clank trilogy,
and they showed that,
and they showed that, and I said I would buy it once all 3 of them are out and the console goes down in price, and I will do that absolutely. But I just don't feel like it's going to necessarily be worth it off the bat to pay extra for not getting extra, I guess. I think that's kind of where I'm trying to come from on this one.
Yeah. Well, it's all going to be what's it all going to end up costing me at the end of the day after trade-in, you know, the whole with my PS4 Pro. Is it all going to be worth it at the time? And is there going to be a bunch of stuff coming out for it? Or is it just, I'm going to have Spider-Man and a PS5 and that's it, you know? So that I really want to play. So if they give me Spider-Man and then they come out with a new Arkham game, I'm like, sold. I don't care what the price is.
If they come out with NFL Blitz 2K20, I mean, I think Mason's on board.
Just put NFL Blitz 2001 on the PS5, and now we're talking.
NFL Blitz 2001 remade.
Here's
$60.
my $60.
Mason's
but which on another note, they talked a little bit about Madden this year, and I'm like, nope, not getting it. Not getting it until it's $10 like it is right now.
Man, I'll get it because it's on Stadia. I'm gonna buy it,
but it's not coming at launch.
Yeah, isn't it?
No, they said that.
Yeah,
Bummer.
There you go then. It'll probably come with more DLC and stuff like they usually do, but
yeah, and Madden is offering, like, if you buy it on PS4, you get a free upgrade for PS5. So because you know why? Because the game is no different on PS5.
Yep,
it's just a port. So good times. It was cool. What'd you guys think of the design? I know there's been a lot of memes, and me and Aaron at least have talked a lot about it between
the PS5 brought to you by Netgear. Yeah, I'm super hype about it.
I like the white look. I like the way it's going. More pictures I saw and stuff, but those memes were so funny of the envelopes between them.
Amazing. You know, I think my thing is like I actually don't mind it at all. Like I think it's cool. It's artistic. You know, if you have like a more modern home, it'll look sleek in there and everything.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing is it's just I don't see a way that you could put that on its side, and that kind of sucks.
You definitely can.
Yeah, there is a way.
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah, there's pictures of it laying down.
Okay, cool. That's good.
That was one thing at first I said to you. I was like, I don't know how that thing can be on its side, you know? But after I saw those pictures, I was like, okay, that's cool. So.
Okay, cool. All right, fair enough. I rescind my comments then. Yeah, otherwise I'm fine with it. I will say, I think it feels like the design is cool, and I don't know how much it costs to make them and everything to make them look neat. I personally am of the opinion of function over form with these sorts of things, that if it cost $50 less or $30 less to make it not look so fancy, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
But it does look cool.
I do like the look of the new Xbox, just the tower. That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you think you'll get this, Weston, at launch? You know, overall price, or you think you'll wait too?
It just depends what else I'm kind of into, and if I feel like I have some time, because I don't know, it's not really a money thing to me. It's more of just like, is it worth it? Is there enough titles to get me going? And then like, what do you guys have? Like, if you have it and you're like, oh man, let's you know, if we talk about it and we both want to play some titles together, then like I'll pick it up for sure. But if no one else is into it, and
for it.
what did you say?
I said Weston's not selling his Peloton to pay for it.
I don't gotta sell my non-existent Peloton to pay for anything. So thankfully enough, I'm an adult. So
it's not a money thing. Like, I don't need to sell my Peloton to pay for this PS5.
This podcast brought to you by Peloton.
No, it's not about money for me either. It's like value. It's like, am I getting the bang for that $700 I'm spending? I'll spend $700 on a computer tomorrow. I bought a laptop for my wife yesterday, $1,000. You know, but it was worth it to me to do that. Is PS5 going to be worth it for me to drop $700 on? Watch,
no,
you know? When it's going to be a year later, it's going to be $600. You know, so.
Or in 2 or 3 years when it's going to be the PS5 Pro and they do some weird bollocks with it. Who knows?
Yeah,
just like like they did with the PS4. Who knows?
Well, but by that logic, obviously, it would just need to, it would need to be worth $8 a month.
Yeah,
for sure. What I'm saying so, like,
that's fair.
Does it bring, like, whether you wait a year or not? If you were gonna buy it and you think playing it your time is worth $8, then it's worth it, right?
I've been in sales for a long time. You're pulling out a sales pitch right here.
I mean, but realistically, like,
I get it.
So if you're gonna play it even once a month, or if you're gonna have 2 games that you played it for the year, what's $100? Like, because it's more about like just time and how much you're gonna spend on something. But what's not that expensive right now I've been playing a lot is my Nintendo Switch.
Google Stadia? Oh.
For show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my Nintendo Switch, bro.
Yeah, that's just done, and I love this about Nintendo is they don't care about the fancy. They just make good quality games and good titles, just enjoyable things. And my wife has a Switch Lite. I have a Switch, and we literally both play I've been playing mine like every day because the new DLC for Pokemon just came out.
Yeah, I need to pick that up.
Yeah, did you like Sword and Shield? I know we talked about it a long time ago.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
it was cool.
So it's just that, and even more of that in a really, really good way. So, but dude, see, awesome. This is the end of the spectrum. Whereas, like, I guess even for me, I like the new shiny stuff, but I'm more concerned about like what's fun.
Oh yeah,
just what's fun.
Oh, I completely agree.
You know,
well, that's
flexibility.
I think my thing was like this because like the Switch doesn't tote itself as this big new amazing thing. Like the PS5 and the Xbox X, whatever the heck it's called, like they tote themselves as like this is the next generation console and it's going to be the greatest thing ever and the graphics are going to be incredible. And it's like, bro, I can go buy an Nvidia RTX 2070 and blow it out of the water. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I can go build a mid-range PC and blow you out of the water. I can buy a top-of-the-line PC and make you look like chumps. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's just going to get better. Like, the PCs are just going to get more impressive as those get less impressive. So I think it's just the way it presents itself in this, like, masterful way. Whereas, like, the Switch is just like, hey, this is going to be super fun. You're going to have you're going to have a blast. You got grandma and nephew in the same room, and they're playing Mario Kart, and grandma's punching him in the face, and it's the funniest thing, and we're having fun, and it's free. It's
not expensive,
it's just a good time. Whereas PlayStation, Xbox are really just kind of like like I said, presenting themselves in a way that is a lot higher tier, and they're not really pulling it off, in my opinion. I don't know.
We'll see. I think we'll see. Whenever it comes out, we'll all get our hands on it, and who knows?
Yeah. You know what is in right now, guys, is tabletop games. So,
bro,
forget this console stuff and let's play some tabletop games.
I don't honestly know why this isn't just a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Everybody has one. I don't know why this isn't one. I don't know.
Yeah, I just re-upped my thing for the newest Heroes of the Grid.
Nice.
Expansion. I'm pretty stoked about that too. So.
Nice, that's awesome. I'm really excited for all of us to get together and play some Pathfinder. And,
man, I would love to play some games, but
yes,
hopefully once all this quarantine stuff we'll all be able to get together. Because guess what? We're gonna live in the same state.
Well, there's no quarantines among friends. It's fine.
That's right.
We're saying. We live together. We die together. It's gonna be fun.
We're still in a field sleeping in 2008 right now.
This
So
is,
Oh my
this is
God,
actually this is actually 2008 right now. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
Yeah, we just met like 30 minutes ago. It's fine.
I think we knew each other for a little bit longer than that, but yeah.
That's why I think it's like a dream, because like my wife was there and like this whole thing, like it's just all a figment of our imagination. You know?
My wife wasn't there though, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, your wife's lame. No, I left her at home.
She is super lame. I completely agree with you.
It's really funny. She wanted to come that night, and I was like, no.
Like, better not. Better stay home. That's
All
funny.
right, guys. Well, we are at an hour and a half. I think this was a good discussion, though. A discussion that needed to be had about the console itself. I think it's good. So,
side note: Stadia Premiere is now only $99, which is a terrific deal. It was $130, down to $99.
that is a good deal.
My Stadia Premiere, add me, Din, D-I-N-N, capital D, and we will play some Elder Scrolls Online together, or some Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, or a number of other Stadia games that are free every month, because it's super good and you should get it. All right.
Nice.
This podcast brought to you by Google Stadia. Google Stadia, ride the cloud.
Weston, how is the new DLC for Pokemon? Is it good?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's one more. I know that we're just riding up on an hour and a half, but just quickly. I just played it. I've played it about like an hour thus far. Really enjoyed it. Has like a couple of huge new wild areas, new Pokemon, new
that's cool.
like storyline. That's just this one right here. A bunch of new challenges and stuff, and then it's going to change the metagame if you want to play like versus mode, which I've been into recently.
Oh, cool.
And then the next one that's coming out, they're adding like all the legendaries and the new forms of legendaries back into the game.
Oh,
so
ballin'.
if you're thinking about getting back into Pokemon, I think now's a good time. This would be a time to pick back up, either pick up the game and play it, and to this point, or just pick it back up and I think the DLC was like $20 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was
That's
nothing.
not too bad.
It was like
you can buy like both in a bundle for like 30 or something.
Right. Yeah. So I bought both of them, and
amazing.
Obviously, like for $30, the time and if you've already invested a little bit into playing the game through, it's worth it. I've been really enjoying it. I've been up on a Pokemon 10 right now, and
that's cool.
They announced the new Pokemon Snap game that's coming as well.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
what?
snap.
Yep.
Snap.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. Yeah, new Pokemon Snap coming. That was announced this morning as well when this podcast was being recorded. So that's just fun, man. Good stuff.
That's super dope. I like that we're saying
I
snap,
see it now.
because I think it really is 2008 still, if we're saying snap.
Yeah.
Snap.
Oh, Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, we're actually
I'm so excited right now.
I know isn't it exciting? Like, I don't know if you played the first one.
Looks so
That's pretty
good.
cool.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm
We
gonna
tried to
Google
do it on this podcast, but we got to figure that out. We got to play some Pokemon Snap on this.
Yeah, I played it 3 years ago on when we still had Wii U. It actually, you could play it, like you could buy it for like $5 and play it on Wii U, but obviously that's just not a thing anymore. So we'll have to figure that out.
Oh, dude, this game looks so good.
Doesn't it look
I'm
great?
so excited. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Exciting stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, those two
That is
Pokemon
really
things,
cool, yeah.
you can play that one now. The next expansion comes out like in a couple months, so play this one. And then they have something else coming for you with all the new. They actually did Galarian versions or different versions of the legendary birds, Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres. So
Nice.
it's a good time to be a Pokemon fan. There's a lot of Pokemon stuff. I'm a huge fan. I know you are, and I know we all are. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Get into it.
Yeah, especially with the kiddos. Like, it's
Oh,
cool. Like, this is gonna be. It's cool that they are making, obviously main titles for Switch now, because they can add stuff like that, like DLC and zones and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
There's a
Yeah,
Pokemon
super
app
cool.
that's out now that like you set it up for your kids, and they the Pokemon is on their
Axel
head.
plays with that all the time.
And it helps them brush their teeth.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, there's like the Pokemon
cool.
like playground thing that Axel and Milo play with all the time.
No, the thing it just came out today. It's like where it teaches them how to brush their teeth, and there's like a mini game with Pokemon. It's just nuts.
Getting
nuts.
that.
Wild,
I don't
yeah,
have kids, so I was like,
absolutely.
whatever. But I thought about you guys. I was like, yeah, they're gonna like this.
I have like I have the Google Pixel 4, and it has the motion sense, and there's a like a Pikachu background, and you can like wave at him, and he'll wave back and things like that.
Oh, dude, that's ballin'.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right, well, let's wrap this one. Next
No.
week, Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City.
I'm kind of excited. I'll be honest with you.
I know, this is such a random
dude.
one. It's kind of like when we did Maui Mallard, you know?
Maui
Like,
Mallard. That was a good one too.
Dude,
actually.
Maui Mallard, that's a good game. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It was just random. It was just one of those kind of out there games.
That
It was a good game.
I haven't heard that in for a million years. Yeah, I used to play that all the time.
Yep. All right, cool. So, Michael Jordan, and my new sign off is we're gonna press pause for now, but you guys keep playing.
I'm gonna say, what's mine again?
If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.